Prepare to be amazed as we journey through an era of surprising customs and astonishing events, where history's hidden gems are uncovered. From the use of tobacco as currency in colonial America to the innovative rocket artillery developed by an Indian king, get ready to discover the top 20 most mind-blowing facts that define the 1700s. Number 20. Courtship practices. In colonial America, young couples had a unique way of testing their compatibility. They would share a bed, but don't get the wrong idea. This wasn't as intimate as it sounds. The couple was separated by a bundling board, a wooden plank placed between them to ensure proper boundaries were maintained. This practice allowed them to spend time together and talk all night without the risk of physical contact, reflecting the community's strict adherence to modesty and propriety. Number 19. High mortality rates. Life in the 1700s was often harsh and unforgiving. In 1700, the average age of death for Englishmen in Virginia was just 48 years. Many children lost at least one parent before reaching adulthood. The high mortality rates were a grim reminder of the constant threat posed by disease, poor nutrition, and the lack of advanced medical care. This tough reality shaped the lives and communities of early American settlers in profound ways. Number 18. Currency. Due to a shortage of coins, colonial Americans had to get creative with their currency. In Virginia, tobacco was commonly used as a medium of exchange. This barter system was a practical solution in an economy heavily reliant on agriculture. Tobacco notes became a standardized form of currency, reflecting the crop's critical importance to the colonial economy. Number 17. Rocket artillery. In the late 1700s, a king of India developed an innovative form of rocket artillery to combat the British forces. These rockets were designed to fire swords, making them a formidable weapon on the battlefield. This early example of rocketry demonstrated advanced engineering skills and highlighted the ingenuity and resourcefulness of Indian military technology during that era. Number 16. Survival story. Ewen McDonald's tale is one of both survival and tragedy. In 1752, McDonald miraculously survived a hanging, only to face a more gruesome fate. The surgeon who was supposed to dissect his body, as was customary for executed criminals, bludgeoned him to death. McDonald's story serves as a grim reminder of the brutal practices and harsh realities of 18th century justice systems. Number 15. First U.S. ally. In 1777, Morocco became the first country to officially recognize the United States, solidifying a diplomatic relationship that has endured for centuries. This historic moment marked the beginning of the longest unbroken treaty in U.S. history. Morocco's early recognition and support were crucial for the fledgling nation as it sought to establish its place in the world. Number 14. Timothy Dexter. American businessman Timothy Dexter was known for his eccentricity and unpredictable behavior. One of his most bizarre acts was faking his own death to see how people would react. To his disappointment, his wife's lack of grief was particularly striking. Dexter's peculiar experiment offers a glimpse into the mind of one of America's most unconventional entrepreneurs. Number 13. Tartini's Sonata. Venetian composer Giuseppe Tartini claimed that his violin sonata in G minor, also known as the Devil's Trill Sonata, was inspired by a dream in which he sold his soul to the devil. In the dream, the devil played a masterful sonata, and upon waking, Tartini attempted to recreate the piece. The result was a complex and captivating composition that continues to intrigue and inspire musicians to this day. Number 12. Convict labor. In the early 1700s, Britain sent over 50,000 convicted criminals to America to be sold as laborers. These convicts primarily worked on tobacco farms in the South, providing much-needed labor in the colonies. This practice of using convict labor had significant economic and social impacts, shaping the development of the American colonies. Number 11. Illuminati. The original Illuminati was founded in Bavaria in 1776 with the aim of opposing superstition, promoting women's education, and advocating for gender equality. Despite its short lifespan, the Illuminati has become the subject of numerous conspiracy theories and continues to capture the public imagination. Its progressive goals were ahead of its time, reflecting the Enlightenment ideals that were beginning to take root in Europe. Number 10. Banker punishment. After the South Sea bubble collapse in 1720, public outrage led to extreme proposals for punishing bankers. One particularly grim suggestion involved placing bankers in sacks with snakes and throwing them into the Thames River. Although this punishment was never carried out, it underscores the intense anger and frustration felt by those who lost their savings in the financial disaster. Number 9. Lost manuscript. French scholar Louis de Jaucourt spent years working on a 6-volume anatomy manuscript, only to lose it all when the ship carrying it sank. This devastating loss was a significant setback for de Jaucourt, who had dedicated a substantial part of his life to this work. Despite this tragedy, he later contributed extensively to the encyclopedia, ensuring his intellectual legacy endured. Number 8. Nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide, commonly known as laughing gas, has been used recreationally since the late 1700s. People attended laughing gas parties, where they inhaled the gas for its euphoric effects. These gatherings inadvertently led to the discovery of nitrous oxide's anesthetic properties, revolutionizing medical procedures and pain management. Number 7. De Moivre's prediction. Mathematician Abraham de Moivre made a startling prediction about his own death. He calculated that he would sleep an additional 15 minutes each night, and predicted he would die on the day he slept for 24 hours. Astonishingly, he died on the exact date he had forecasted, a coincidence that continues to fascinate and baffle historians. Number 6. Shakespeare's house. In 1756, Reverend Francis Gastrell demolished William Shakespeare's former residence in Stratford-upon-Avon due to the nuisance caused by visiting tourists. This act of destruction outraged the local community and led to Gastrell's expulsion from the town. The demolition of Shakespeare's house is a stark reminder of how historical sites were not always preserved with the reverence they receive today. Number 5. Post-mortem photos. During the Victorian era, it was common to take post-mortem photos with deceased family members, posing them as if they were still alive. This macabre practice was a way for families to preserve the memory of their loved ones in an age when photography was a rare and expensive luxury. These photos often featured the deceased in lifelike poses, creating haunting yet poignant mementos. Number 4. Sybil Ludington. At just 16 years old, Sybil Ludington rode 40 miles on horseback to warn American forces of an impending British attack. Her courageous journey outdistanced Paul Revere's famous midnight ride, yet her story remains less well known. Ludington's bravery and determination were instrumental in rallying the militia and securing a crucial victory for the American Revolution. Number 3. Saloop. Saloop, a drink made from ground orchid tubers, was popular in the 18th century. However, it fell out of favor after rumors spread that it could cure venereal disease. This association led to a decline in its popularity, and Saloop eventually disappeared from the beverage scene. The rise and fall of Saloop reflect how public perception and rumors can dramatically influence food and drink trends. Number 2. Tax rates. In 1774, colonial Americans enjoyed the highest standard of living in the world and paid an average tax rate of just 1.25%. This relatively low tax burden contributed to their prosperity and was one of the factors that fueled the desire for independence from British rule. The stark contrast between the colony's wealth and their grievances over taxation without representation helped ignite the American Revolution. Number 1. Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was once one of the largest and most powerful nations in Europe. However, it vanished in the 18th century due to a series of partitions by Austria, Prussia, and Russia. This dramatic shift in power reshaped the political landscape of Europe and marked the end of a significant era in the region's history. That wraps up our journey through the most astonishing and mind-blowing facts of the 1700s. From the unique courtship practices of colonial America to the mysterious fate of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, we've uncovered the fascinating stories that shaped this remarkable century. If you enjoyed discovering these intriguing bits of history, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more curated lists and deep dives into the past. Thanks for watching, and we can't wait to explore more with you in our next video.